Hey, my name is Jason. This is Ben. We work at Citrus. We're a mobile consulting company. We focus on enterprise development and iOS. You may remember us from such riveting MoDev presentations as iOS performance optimization, a deep dive. I promised Pete I wouldn't show any code though today, so you're safe. But what I would like to talk about is a software as a service platform that we run. It's a digital, really not digital, a tablet-based publishing platform that we call Better Press. And the tagline is, Better Press is the printing press for the iPad. And the reason we kind of coined that trademark is because we've developed the most streamlined way for companies, government organizations, charities, really any enterprise to take their printed material, their brochures, magazines, newsletters, HR employee handbooks, and turn them into tablet applications. We publish to the Apple newsstand. If you have a publication that goes out at least quarterly, we can get you into the newsstand. And we also do standalone iPad apps. And the need for this service really didn't come out of any flash of genius or great idea that we thought would be wonderful. It came out of a need that we saw over and over again during our consulting when we talked to customers, and they kept asking us to build them basically publication apps. And we kept quoting them the cost to do a custom app, and they kept saying, well, I don't know if we can do that. So we thought, hey, what if we bundle this together, we turn this into a service, and we take that price point down a little bit, and we also hit a kind of a workflow that works for these businesses. So what we've done is package the publishing process to start with a PDF document, which is great for businesses because it's the same PDF that they take to their printer right now and get their brochure or their other document printed. They hand it to us. We host it for them. We take care of all the push notifications, all the deployments, all the APNS and certificates, and all the technical pieces for them. And then we give them a functioning iPad app. So I'm going to turn it over to Ben. He's going to do a demo. And if you have any questions, feel free to stop us. And I guess, do you want me to drive when you talk?
I can probably. What's the same solution?
That works.
Everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going to demo 4 different clients who are using our platform or are about to launch with our platform into the Apple newsstand. And the first one is the University of Virginia magazine. And they are a sort of a traditional magazine publishing use case where they put out a quarterly magazine for their alumni association that people are reading. 60,000 people every quarter read it in print now, and now a small fraction of that are reading it on their iPad instead.
Shortly after launch, I think with the first couple issues that went out, we captured about 2,000 readers, and it's just going up from there.
And so their latest issue is just a nice experience of understanding what's going on at the university today, and they've got their cover, and they've chosen a navigation style where people can go navigate through articles by going up and down, and across articles by going left and right. So the U Digest article and its conversation with Julian Bond is all one chapter, so to speak, and you can provide a quick way of navigating through all of the chapters in this thumbnail view. And that's all built based off of the information that's embedded into PDF automatically when they provide the document to us. And another nice part is the text-based table of contents with the actual article titles and things like that. And then there are some advanced features that are built in to the platform, which include video embedding, which ours is currently the only platform that's based on PDF that can actually play a video from within the PDF directly.
Yeah, believe it or not, even the Adobe PDF reader for the iPad can't play video.
So that's just one of the extra features that we get. And the other part is embedding of links in advertising and launching advertisers' sites from within the app. And at the bottom of this chapter is a branded UVA wine, 1819 wine. And if I had the Wi-Fi up, you'd see the page, and there's a cart in here where you can actually buy cases of the wine directly within the UVA magazine publication.
Yeah, one of the most boring and compelling sales points for this platform is the fact that it has Google Analytics integrated. And Google's a great analytics platform that most of our customers already are familiar with. And it actually translates very well to a reading experience where we can show businesses which pages people are reading, how long they're staying on page, which links they're tapping in page. As they go back and forth between different issues of a magazine or issues of a newsletter or employee document, you can see what's the popularity of which document. And as Ben pointed out, the ability for publishers that are doing magazines to embed links back to the advertisers is huge for them. It drives a tangible, immediate revenue stream, way more than printing their URL in a static print publication. And they can provide analytics back to those publishers or back to those advertisers to say, hey, this is all the traffic we're driving you. You know, this is worth money to get on this platform.
And like back to Jason's point about the engagement metrics that you get with Google Analytics, like publishers never really knew how long people were spending, you know, reading their magazine, but with UVA magazine, we're seeing people spending on average 15 to 20 minutes with the content that UVA is putting out, really engaging with it, reading cover to cover the whole magazine, and then coming back every quarter to read the next one. And those sorts of metrics you don't really get with print because, you know, people are potentially just throwing things away.
Can I ask just a quick question? So to what extent is that, do you combine geolocation data with that? I mean, because it'd be really interesting if I were a publisher, like, does somebody pick up an article, read it on the subway, stop it, start it again? Like, I could see that being useful, not just for advertisers, you know, if you could sort of somehow integrate that in real time, but also on the content creation side, you know, like, is there a writer that people just read and read and read, or is it something where somebody reads first paragraph one place and then they...
Yeah, so the question was, what about the geolocation demographics for the analytics? And you're absolutely right. University of Virginia, not only for deciding what they're going to do their next few articles on, but they're excited about being able to see where their readers are, where their readers are reading from. They have alumni associations around the country that they need to know where to focus dollars, where to focus presence. So the answer is yes. Geolocation demographics are integrated in, and you get it for free. We didn't do anything exciting. You get it for free with Google Analytics. And
unsurprisingly, people are reading University of Virginia magazine all over the world, in Afghanistan and China and all throughout Europe. People are picking up magazines.
What type of privacy disclosures are you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and Apple's kind of facilitated this in a nice way. With every app we publish, there's a URL for the privacy policy. And because that demographic data becomes the property of the publisher, we're using their privacy policy. So if they don't have the right provisions in their privacy policy, that's something from the consulting side that we advise them, hey, you need to let people know what you're doing with this data, or that you're collecting this data to start with. So absolutely. So Ben, as we're going through questions, maybe if you want to jump around, because I know everybody's getting anxious to get networking and show some of the other use cases, more enterprise use cases.
So maybe you answered this in the beginning, and I was not following. How do you convert something into a digital publication? Do you take a physical publication and then you scan it and put it in, or so how does that process work?
Absolutely. So to dig just slightly technical for a second, we use the PDF document as the data store for the publication. And I love it when people say, oh, so you made a fancy PDF reader. And I get really offended about that for a second, and then I move on and say, well, actually what we do is we use the PDF as the data source, but we pull the entire thing apart. We pull out all the images, all the links, all the text.
You're parsing all of it and you're putting
We're parsing it, putting it back together, and that's how we're able to support the video. We suck the video out of that. And PDF at the end of the day is just a big XML document, right? We're digging in, pulling out that embedded movie, deserializing it, figuring out where to stick it on the page, and then rendering everything back. And because we use PDF, whereas some other platforms are based on images, this thing is pixel perfect. You've got 3x zoom. We could let it go further. We let it go all the way, and the text would be perfect. But then we'd have to get our publishers putting in just ridiculously large images. But yeah, the ability to have this thing be pixel perfect is basically because it's all PDF, and we're using a lot of vector font, vector imagery.
So your turnaround time for a customer is very quick then?
Very quick, and that was the idea. I mean, HTML5 is a little more exciting and technically hip and trendy right now, but PDF is what goes to the printer right now. So you go to your paper printer with PDF, you come to your digital iPad printer with PDF. Same PDF if you like.
You keep saying video. Are you supporting audio as well and every other?
Yeah. You could do audio through the same provision.
You'll be able to hear it. That video that I showed did have an audio track that went with it.
Two quick questions. What's the usual turnaround time? And does this have to be a part of Newsstand itself, or can it be a part of another app which is already being used by an enterprise and wants to integrate that as even module within the enterprise? And what's the pricing structure?
Very good questions. That's 3 questions there.
Can you repeat that question? There you go. I gave you another one to answer.
Okay, so the first one was turnaround. What's the turnaround time? The second question was, does this have to be in the newsstand, or can it be embedded as part of another app? And the third one was, what's the pricing model? So I'll go backward. I should have done the pricing model first. We're still learning how to sell products. So we started out with a really complex pricing model, and surprisingly, nobody wanted to buy it. They couldn't understand it. It had an upfront cost because we had kind of a sunk cost in getting this thing up and running and publishing for you. We do handle it end to end. We create the app, we deploy the app, we walk you through the approval process. But we realized that just doesn't work. And this is a new technology. Their ebooks are outpacing hardcover and print books at Amazon.com right now. There's a survey out there by Seven, survey company in the UK, that says tablet users prefer reading on their device rather than reading in print when they have the choice. So people want to go there, but they still don't know if they can pay for it yet, and making the business case to their boss is kind of tough. So we've moved to a flat fee per digital issue delivered to an iPad.
Which, put simply, means every time somebody clicks this button, which it's going to...
And they're on Wi-Fi?
And they're on
or
Wi-Fi
3G.
where they can actually do it. But that's when that flat fee kicks in.
And it's 5 cents per issue delivered to an iPad.
Doesn't matter the number of pages.
Doesn't matter the number of pages. I suppose if you go real big we've done some test documents with 200 pages with all full color spreads, photography magazine. No big deal. We can handle that. We've got some margin on there. Your encyclopedia. If it's all text, we'll be good to go.
The publisher pays for it, right?
What's that?
The
Yes.
publisher pays for it, not the person that's downloading it.
Correct.
The publishers can charge for their issues and subscriptions.
And the other question was newsstand. It can either be in newsstand or it can be a standalone app.
Not a part of.
We don't sell it as a separate library. Not right now.
We could potentially if someone...
What is the payment system you're using?
So right now we're billing. This project just came out of beta. We went into beta with the University of Virginia. We've got 4 clients on board to go into production, but right now we have a system that's crawling our logs for the downloads, aggregating the price, and then we use FreshBooks for billing. They have a great API. You can send out a bill, let people pay you with credit card, check, what have you. Maybe we'll get more sophisticated once we get the big guys on board.
You wanted to answer my turnaround time?
Oh, sorry. Turnaround time is really dependent on Apple. We've got continuous integration going where we drop PDF documents in, we have a web interface to create the metadata that has everything about what's in the issue, the title of the issue, spin off the cover image to put out there to the app. That's easy. That takes maybe a day when we're feeling slow. Apple takes 5 to 7 days for turnaround for approval. Unless they get really excited about some of your content, then it's going to take longer.
And that's the first time.
So we're also publishing for the Darden School of Business, top 10 MBA school. Apple denied their publication because they publish twice a year instead of 4 times a year. They said, whoop, you got to have at least quarterly publishing to go on the newsstand. So we fought that with them for a while. We are going live with Darden here at the end of the week, but yeah, it's kind of unfortunately for us in Apple's hands in many of the cases.
And then 2 other quick features were social sharing to Twitter, Facebook, and email. And then you also having, if I could connect, you can subscribe and that enables newsstands auto downloading features so that the issues when we load a new issue into the app, it's automatically distributed to everyone who's subscribed. And once the download is finished, the user gets a little notification saying that they've got a new issue available, and then they get the little, the Esquire and the New York Times currently have the new issue tag on it.
Can you show the spread navigation real quick, and I'll answer a few more questions. Peter, are we about to run over on time?
A couple more minutes.
Couple minutes?
Can you do a smart share like Kindle does, where it embeds, gives you a link to it embedded, and takes you to the book?
On the product manager's feature roadmap, but no. And the other kind of analog to that we love that the Kindle does is the ability to share a passage. There's certainly some questions around the reception of the publishers for people ripping their content and sharing it out, but also something some people have requested. So yeah, wonderful, wonderful roadmap features.
What's the difference between this and Adobe DPS?
So Adobe DPS is clearly a competitor. Adobe DPS is something that we probably provide 80 to 90% of the functionality of, and that's a good thing, believe it or not. So Adobe DPS is a completely different publishing workflow. You need your designers to be laying out your documents differently. You need them learning new tools to embed any of the some of the interactivity features. So we've got video, we have audio, we've got the paging, the chapter navigation, but what we don't have is if you go into Wired magazine and they have a feature where you see an advertisement and you tap on the advertisement and then that layer fades away and another layer pops up. We're working on that right now and parsing out multiple layers of the PDF, but we don't offer that right now. And that was kind of a sad technical decision, but a nice strategic business decision because we've gotten most of our customer base, they don't want to invest in that. A lot of these people, they want a small price point. They want to take what they're sending to the printer right now and turn it around and get it on the iPad. So you know what? Adobe's feature for feature, Adobe's better than us. But they cost an order of magnitude more, depending on how much you want to bulk on the low side if you don't want to buy a huge pack of downloads up front, and we're pay-as-you-go.
Yeah, the other parts you have to give them your firstborn child up front in order to get access to the technology.
And at best, you're going to get, they're going to be 3x more expensive than us.
Just for the iOS platform?
Just iOS. I mean, from a tablet standpoint, that's the place to go right now. Kindle Fire is definitely looking like an interesting platform. I think basing it off PDF, there's a lot of, we certainly tapped into some of the native PDF parsing, the CGPDF document that's built into iOS. There is some of that native functionality in Java. So moving over to Android is probably not an if, but a when kind of thing. But we definitely concentrate on iOS right now.
And then real quick, this is just another use case. This is FEMA, who we're talking with about using BetterPress to distribute. They have these pamphlets that go out to their flood insurance sales reps, and they're looking for a good way to distribute these digital pamphlets. And this is just the quick app that we put together for them as a demonstration.
And instead of chapter navigation, FEMA is using spread-based navigation, which is actually popular with a lot of the magazine publishers because they've got nice spreads that go cross-page. So if you're in landscape, you see a 2-page facing spread. If you move to portrait, you're going to get a single page at a time. So that's it. Definitely stop by if you want to publish something to the iPad or just talk about any of the technical implementation. We'd love to talk about it.
Would be a good marketing tool later if you could specify how much carbon footprint saved.
Yeah, the green aspect is definitely interesting. We've shied away a little bit because we know we would love it if people would do this instead of printing to paper, but we're not foolish, and we know that people are going to still print their glossy sales brochures, and there is merit to continuing the print process as a bridge to getting over to digital. But actually, and we didn't incite this, the University of Virginia has on their website and a link embedded in the app where you can sign up to discontinue the printed version of the magazine to be delivered to your doorstep, which is kind of cool and kind of the shape of things to come. Thank you.